Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news. Craig, guess what day it is?
I stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image of me that you're used to. I look money, a king bee making honey, see? Deep state, I hope you're ready for me. Now gather round, I'm the new sheriff in town. All my people rise up and stand your ground. Now drink up all the Diet Coke you got in your shelf. So just let me introduce myself, my name is Trump D. I like my mashed potatoes lumpy. Fake news, oh how I like to punk thee. That little sniper on the slope tin, he took a shot but he missed me. I don't fall, y'all, I'm like the ever-ready bunny. Still going strong and spunky. So put on your big boy pants. Come on, let's do the dance.
Trumpy dances, it shines to do the Trump.
Come on, do the Trumpy Trump. Come on and do the Trumpy Trump. Check me out, y'all. We do the Trumpy Trump. Just watch me do the Trumpy Trump. Yeah. Do you know what I'm doing? We do the Trumpy Trump. Come on, everybody do the Trumpy Trump. It's time to do the Trumpy Trump. Yeah.
How are we doing this fine Monday morning post shot?
Monday afternoon, and it's going all right.
There you go. Well, you know, it's funny. I saw Rhonda Izell was like, noticed that nobody had posted that they had the SHOT Show crud. And I was like, well, I don't know about everybody else, but I took every day I took B12 and a bunch of vitamin C.
I don't have it, but I don't get sick. All good.
There you go. Well, I would say I don't get sick, but I sometimes I get the symptoms, and they usually only last a day or two. But I did still deal with the usual. Okay, I'm no longer hyped on the meth that they shoot into the air in the casinos over there. So I did have that kind of lull back into reality.
Yeah, yesterday was a lot of 2-hour naps. I'll just say that. And, did the laundry today. Oh, and by the way, right about, I don't know if you can see this see where my hands are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everything below here is still laying all over the place, not unpacked properly. So, This is good. This area here is good. Everything below here you don't want to see right now.
So I actually have done a pretty good job of most of the equipment that I use here in the studio. I don't take with me. I do take my soundboard. I do take my laptop. But all of the camera and most of the hookups and everything like that is all, I got that all set up in a travel bag. Now, mind you, it's not all put in the bag correctly. I have to go through and organize, and I've got like things full of patches and stickers and yeah. Anyway, so I still have unpacking to do, but
yeah, I only have to take the gear with me when we go, so I don't have to take all the lights, the cameras, or anything like that with me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you got some really good interviews.
Baby, did we get some good stuff?
Yes, you can tell if you follow them. If you follow Arms Room Radio on social media, you'll see some of the pictures of some of the folks that they had a chance to interview. Really, really good. I'm hoping to one day get the same sort of deference from the media folks. But then again, I mean, Arms Room Radio has been doing it for a long time. And you guys, you interview more folks than anybody else. In fact, the only people I saw that were always at their booth doing interviews was me, you, and Guns.com. They were the closest.
Yeah, Guns.com was doing theirs remote. They were using their booth for a couple of minor interviews and some processing, but we redid ours constantly. We had 24 hours worth of interviews. So
wow, that's a lot. That's good. That's good stuff. That's good. That's going to be some really, 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 really good content. So how do you decide like which stuff you're going to put out there first? Is it all based on when you recorded it?
On the first day, we try to do everything in order. That way it's just easy to create a show. And usually by the second day, it's just a madhouse. It's just because we got, if the radio shows 8 segments, one opening, 2 middles, and a close, then the second hour is the same. So we always try to record it like that, but it doesn't necessarily work that way because you want to put on your over the course of the 3 or 4 days, your highest topic news, your pertinent news stuff first. Then you're putting on your well-known names. Then you put on your sponsors in there after that, and then finally you end up putting on all the product reviews you do. So it's just really now getting it back, piecing it all together. The first day is usually pretty simple to schedule. Everything after that, you gotta piecemeal and just build programs.
Wow, sounds see, one of the advantages of doing a podcast is you're just like I put them on when I want to put them on, and the great part about this in particular is that the only real editing you have to do is if there's a flub or a mistake or you wind up with a cutoff and you wind up having to fix some stuff. But other than that, once we're done with this, it's done.
No, I will be working and producing the stuff from SHOT Show until the end of the year. We'll be using them throughout the end of the year.
I will say the one interview that I had that I was a really good interview was with Harmeet Dillon, the head of the new Second Amendment office within the Department of Civil Rights. And I really kind of got that one like last second because I didn't know she was going to be there. I saw her. I got her in between interviews, and I had like 5 minutes to set everything up, get her lower thirds, set up the cameras and everything. The cameras were all off at the time. And during the first, like, I want to say 30 seconds of the interview, she was out of focus. Felt really bad, but the audio was great. So, and
yeah,
I got to ask the one question that I wanted, which was, all right, what are y'all doing about the feds? What are the feds going to do? We know you're going after locals in the state. What are you going to do about getting the DOJ's house in order?
Yeah, it's good interview there. I kind of watched that one on the side, and we didn't get to interview her. That's just the way it worked out. We didn't get to interview her, but we got some other good stuff for sure.
Yeah, they probably could have done a better job of letting folks know she was going to be there. But she was there, and she was funny because she told me she was specifically there to do exactly what she was doing. She's like, she was there. She had to speak. She spoke to a women's group, a women's Second Amendment group, and do interviews because her whole job is to promote the office. Or at least while she was there. So,
yeah, no, we had some that were there exclusively for us, and others that we shared. So it was a good time. Good time.
Yes, definitely a good time this year at SHOT. Oh man, yeah, had some late nights as usual, early mornings as usual, but
I don't recall those.
That's called SHOT.
I just mean I don't recall them. That's all.
Oh, you don't recall? I thought you said, "What do we call them?" Oh, yeah. Well, I just don't recall them. Got it.
Just don't recall them.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into today's stories, today's news, today's fun stuff. And you know how we always kick it off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah. By the way, all of which we saw while at SHOT Show. They came by the booth. Let's say hi to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself some AR barrels. They got everything you need, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. They can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. If you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, fire, security, EMS, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there. Check them out. Spend some money with them. And make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you are watching this program, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching us live, which means we're following your comments. And we would love to hear what you have to say about the program. Maybe you have some comments about some of the coverage we had from SHOT, whatever it is. Let us know what you think. And you don't have to agree with us on any particular thing. In fact, we would rather you not agree with us because then it gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, isn't it a mockingbird? Isn't it a mockingbird?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy. Mockingbird.
the opportunity to mock. Anyway, let's go ahead and see. Okay, now we don't have anybody. Normally now I'm disappointed because normally American Crossfire would already be chiming in. Patrick would already be chiming in. I had a chance to hang out with Pat. Had him on the well, I didn't have him. Well, actually, I did take the back. I did have him on the program. During one episode, he was standing like right there, right? And I was like, hey, come here. I said, this is Patrick, Gun Food. Check him out.
Nice.
Yeah, so he got a free commercial up in there. All right, folks. Well, let's get into the big news, and you guys already know what that is. That is the shooting that took place, of a second anti-ICE protester. You've probably already seen all of the videos, but I actually found one with CBS News that kind of had all of it kind of summed up in what I thought was a pretty good. Although some of the comments that they have are a little biased, but wanted to share that and then have our resident use of force and law enforcement expert, Mike Piwowarski, chime in and kind of give us his perspective on what he saw.
About 2 minutes before the shooting, Alex Preddy is seen arguing with officers. One officer pushes him back, and an individual is detained as Preddy's argument with officers continues. Preddy, holding a cell phone, was allegedly there as an observer to document what was happening. About a minute later, Preddy is seen standing in the street, filming, directing a car past him. An officer then approaches another apparent observer and pushes her. She moves to Preddy and holds him by the waist, and the officer approaches and pushes Preddy. A second woman walks over. The officer pushes her to the ground, then sprays Preddy with a chemical irritant. Preddy raises his hands to block the spray. Preddy and the first woman then move to assist the woman who is knocked down, and the officer continues to spray. Several more officers arrive and drag Preddy onto the ground. An officer in gray reaches into the struggle and comes out holding a gun that appears to match a photo of a gun released by the Department of Homeland Security. In this video, obtained by CBS News, you can clearly see the gun being removed from Preddy's waist by the officer. The first shot is fired about 1 second later. Slowed to a quarter speed, you can see and hear how quickly the shot follows the gun's removal. In another angle, you can see an agent watch as the gun is removed from Preddy's waistband before the agent pulls his own gun and fires at the kneeling Preddy. The officers move away from Preddy as at least one of them continues to fire. Preddy does not appear to be moving. Around 10 shots.
Okay. Thoughts? Based on this and other stuff that you've seen.
So I give you some of the legal first, right? The case law that's current is that in order for law enforcement to use of force, they do not have to be the individual that sees the need for the use of deadly force. It used to be where, Craig, if I wanted to use deadly force, I had to witness the resistance that equaled the use of deadly force. Okay, whether that be somebody pointing a gun, somebody pointing a gun at someone else, the axe, the chain, whatever it was, swinging the bat, that kind of thing. The current case law is that if another law enforcement officer sees it and identifies it and calls it out, that other law enforcement officers can use the deadly force to stop the threat. So what this looks like on the appearance is that the one law enforcement officer pulled the gun, saw the gun, tried to take possession of the gun, whatever, because the audio is not real clear there. I'm going to assume because they said it, that he said gun. And as soon as that one officer said gun, the other officers were within their rights to use deadly force against Preddy. Now, it turns out he did not have the firearm on him, but the officers were within the law to use deadly force because by the report they were giving, deadly force was being used against them.
Yeah, I think if you look at where his hand was in the video when the shooting started, it looked like his hand was like, they were saying something was in his hand. I believe it was a phone. I didn't like the way they pointed out in the thing, well, in the video that CBS did. Well, clearly you can see the gun is taken away. Well, how many of those officers were standing back at that particular vantage point to know that the gun had been removed? None of them, except the one who took it, knew it had been removed.
Yeah, this is clearly. Listen, I would say it's just based on the law. It's a justifiable use of force. However, it was an erroneous use. The gun had been taken away, but that was not clear. The other officers were given lawful authority to use deadly force when they were told there's a gun present. That's it. It's what it comes down to. The thing to remember, Craig, and here's the big part to remember here, and this is different from state to state, and you know a lot of these laws as well. In many states, and again, this is different state to state, folks. So please check this state to state. You could carry, depending on the state you are, you could carry your firearm with or without a permit. You can carry that firearm open carry. You can carry that firearm concealed carry. Again, that varies by state. Some states, you can bring that firearm to an assembly or a peaceful protest, a gathering. You can have that firearm there. Some states says it has to be concealed. Some states it says open. Some states it says unloaded. Different from state to state, right? You could even have a firearm with you if, let's say, you're a 2A group, a pro 2A group, and you're opposing an anti 2A group. As long as those are peaceful groups and they're separated, both may have allowed to have firearms, depending on, again, what that state law says and how that gun can be carried. The one thing, Craig, that is universal, though, is you cannot bring a firearm to interfere with a law enforcement operation. That is not a protest. That is not observing. This guy is going hands-on, confrontational with these officers. He is committing a crime. And then he wanted to fight with officers while armed. It's very unfortunate that they misidentified who had the firearm when they called out gun, but you don't get to be there to do that. And this is the possibility that can happen when you're there breaking the law.
Well, and in this particular case, keep in mind, they crossed the street in order to interfere. Now, he was trying to protect, in this case, two different women who were in fact actively engaging law enforcement officers, and that's why they said one of them got pushed, fell down, and he went over to get between the officer and her. While the officer was, I don't know if he was attempting to detain her or whatever, but as soon as he stepped between the officer and her, he was now interfering. And the one thing that I've always been taught is, you know what? Even when you have a legal right, you need to understand that when you are armed and step into a volatile situation, the chance of deadly force being used elevates. And
That's right.
especially if you are going to engage law enforcement and, go outside and understand the entire context of this conversation. I mean, these folks have been throwing frozen bottles at these guys. They've been throwing rocks at them. They've been blockading their cars. They've been throwing fireworks at them. I mean, these folks have been, these agents have been under attack. And so, they don't want someone right up in their face. No, they don't want someone pushing on them. And yes, they're going to make sure they don't want you interfering. And by the way, at this particular time, they were interfering with the apprehension of a child molester. That's who they were interfering. Anyway, all that having been said, and a lot of people tried to liken it to when Kyle Rittenhouse, the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. And what I tell people is, number one, Kyle Rittenhouse was open carrying, and he was open carrying a long gun. So anyone who engaged him, law enforcement or not, understood they were engaging an armed individual, right?
Yeah.
And they attempted to disarm him. These were just random people who were seeking to do him harm and sought to do him harm. And he ran, and they chased him, and they attempted to do him harm, and they wound up finding out. And then
remember, Kyle was not breaking the law. He was openly carrying that firearm. If you recall, he was even encountered by law enforcement. They saw him with the vehicle, waved him on. Hands up, don't shoot. Yep. He made it a point. He went to surrender himself to law, because he's like, look, hey, I'm not. But in this particular case, once again, we don't know what this guy said to law enforcement, but I feel pretty confident in the fact that he did not tell them that he was armed. Right. And I don't know if there's a duty to report in Minnesota. In California, there is. If you engage law enforcement, you encounter law enforcement, you are obligated to tell them that you are armed. And listen, listen. I don't have every law in front of me from every state, but I'm gonna step out on a limb, Craig, and say that in no state is it legal to take a firearm to confront the police.
No, you are 100% correct. You are. They did pass a law that made it so you couldn't take it to a gathering, but that got struck down by the courts.
Right.
So, and once again, I don't even know where that is in the appeal process, because if they put a stay on they may have even put a stay on the decision. I don't know. I just know that in the end, this was it was an unfortunately, when I say a bad shoot, it does not mean I believe it was a legal shoot. I believe that it was a bad shoot in that he was not armed at the time that they and it was not, so he wasn't going for a weapon when they wound up shooting him. You're right. It's probably going to wind up being a legal shoot, because for the most part, everything seems to. It looks bad, but everything seems to match up with what I know the law to be there.
Right.
The one thing though is still a lot more stuff that needs to come out. There's a lot of more interviews that need to take place. A lot more analysis of everything, and that's the other thing is I'm sick and tired of these people who get mad if you don't just automatically rush to judgment. If your first response is, well, let's wait and get all of the information. Let's let all the data and facts and whatnot come out. People treat you like, well, you're just you're a fascist.
Yeah. Let's be clear. Listen, you asked me for my opinion on what you showed me.
Right.
I don't have all the information. I give you the opinion on what I saw.
Well, exactly. I love, though, the use of force experts, the ones who've never picked up a firearm ever in their life, and all of a sudden they have the ability to determine whether or not something was a legal shoot.
Yeah, the ability to sit back and Monday morning quarterback is a great tool for some people.
Yeah, but the worst part about all of this is that this didn't have to happen if you didn't have guys like Jacob Fry, the mayor of Minneapolis, or Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, or Ilhan Omar, a congressperson who represents part of that area. If you didn't have them out basically fomenting violence, I mean, accusing these agents of not being law enforcement, which that is the most asinine thing. I got in an argument with a guy yesterday who was like, they're not law enforcement. I said, they are law enforcement. They're not local cops, but they are law enforcement. They are sworn officers of the law.
Yep.
And if you don't understand that, he's like, well, I don't need you to explain to me. I said, clearly I do, because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
They're sworn officers of the law. They have one specific area they focus on. It's like saying, like, DEA agents aren't law enforcement. No, yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're fomenting violence. But now I'll also throw this in. When you have Kristi Noem going out and basically saying things that just simply weren't true. I mean, I think there's a reason why Tom Homan has been sent there now. And that's largely because, he's going to go in and he's just going to state the facts. What I'm hoping comes from all of this is, and it sounds like they may be working out a deal. Tell you what, you just give us all of the criminal illegals you have in your jails. As you get them, we'll come straight to the jail and we'll come get them, and we'll remove the ICE agents off the streets. I think that's what's going to wind up happening.
Which, if it had happened in the first place, they wouldn't be there.
Well, see, now there you go, talking facts again.
Yeah.
We don't do that in politics in this country.
Yeah, exactly. Craig, the other thing, and I'm not sure whether you had it planned or not, I would have liked to have seen perhaps a pause and maybe asking for some clarification from a few officials, including, listen, appreciate the work he's done. I think he's done a great job, Director Patel, where they're saying that, where they've talked about the Second Amendment rights issue. Now, I understand the point they're trying to make, but if they had made it the way you and I had just made it,
right,
it wouldn't be an issue. But now they have Second Amendment groups saying, wait a second, they can have guns. Yeah, well, they can have guns, but you can't have guns when you decide to go confront police. That's the difference. And if they had said that, it would have been a dead issue.
Well, and some of them, or in some cases, I can say this. In the case of Representative Massey, he was taken out of context, because when you listen to the whole full thing that he said, The full
Right.
thing was, he said, no, you are not allowed to, he talked about taking a gun to a protest where you're going, and at the end of it, he says, where you are going to actively engage or violently engage law enforcement.
Right. Correct.
Right.
He was correct there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing is but Kash Patel put his foot in his mouth on that one, as well as some other officials.
I think if that had been an actual real behind a podium press conference with the opportunity to explain, he would have. But
Right.
you saw what it was. It was
Right.
it was a quick down and dirty with everybody throwing questions at him, and he didn't get a chance to finish the thought. So they set him up to fail, and he
Yeah.
should have recognized. Well, we'll do this from the podium later today. Bye.
Yes, and he'll provide the clarification. I think the other thing is like even you see some gun rights advocates who are out there saying you have every right to take a firearm to a protest, and some of them are not doing the other caveat to say, but you are never allowed to carry a firearm if you are going, or you should never carry a firearm if you are going to physically engage law enforcement. That is just all
The
bad.
take the firearm to a protest thing. You better check your state law. Listen, we saw the exclusionary zones
Right.
that Virginia created, so you couldn't take a firearm to. It's every state is different.
Yes. No, you are 100% correct. And the thing about all of this, Mike, is that this is something that they wanted. I hate to say this, but this is much the same way Hamas is advocating for. And Hamas wants innocent people they want martyrs, right? Because they believe that when that happens, when someone dies, that then gets the public on their side because people aren't going to look at the facts. People are just going to look at the dead body. In this effort, these guys are really, really well organized, right? And that was one of the things that is not being very well reported on. In fact, only Fox News and News Nation and a couple of locals seem to actually be doing any reporting on it. But it's noted here, it says a far-left network that helped put Alex Preddy in harm's way then made him a martyr. Now, there's a group of folks out there who have actually organized, and they're basically communicating and they're putting together they're organizing efforts to be an actual resistance. It says here, the skirmish that led to Saturday's fatal shooting of an agitator by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis and the response that followed were driven by a complex network of far-left organizations with a wide range of causes, Fox News digital investigation found. A coordinated web of encrypted chats, street alerts, and tracking of ICE abductors, that's in quote, in a sophisticated database reviewed by Fox News Digital shows that agitators were already mobilized at the scene where 37-year-old Alex Preddy was killed minutes before any shots were fired. ICE and Border Patrol agents were there to arrest an illegal immigrant criminal, and Preddy and others were there outside of the donut shop to meet them as a part of a strategic pattern of organized interference with law enforcement operations. Over the following hours, a national network of socialist, communist, and Marxist-Leninist cells in the United States leveraged the tragic fatality into a nationwide protest operation. While grief and outrage over Preddy's death is genuine, the network's real-time rapid response using short, sensational video clips and emojis as weapons of propaganda offers a window into the disciplined logistics, messaging, and coordination of far-left warriors fomenting insurgency like confrontation with authorities. So in other words, Mike, the whole point behind this is to organize people. Now, they are literally putting out alerts. All right, we have a sighting of a potential ICE agent over here. We have, in some cases, I believe, where they have notified, where ICE maybe will notify like local government or local law enforcement. Someone on the inside is giving them information and telling them where ICE is going before they get there. And they're showing up with the goal of interfering, right? That is their standard goal. In which, by the way, obstructing or delaying an federal officer in the performance of their duties please correct me, but I do believe that is a federal crime.
It is, and these anti groups, Craig, they're operating. And you and I have talked about this before, in the same way terrorist cells do, in a decentralized response mode, decentralized cell responses. Yeah.
Well, but in this particular case, they're not even decentralized. I mean, they're decentralized in that they are likely not organized like one organized group, but they're
Correct.
communicating and working really closely together.
So the way it works is you put down your orders, and this is what I mean by decentralized. You have your higher up puts out the order. When this kind of event comes out, this is how you respond. You don't have to wait for us to do it. When they get the information, they share it laterally, and they all move out. They don't have to wait for the order to act has already been given. They're just waiting now for the opportunity.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, that's just important to know because they're using both the actions and the things that are going on. They're using these videos. They're using the propaganda that the Jacob Frys and the Tim Wallses and the Democratic members of Congress and all these left-wing leaders, all these people in Hollywood, like Natalie Portman wearing her iced out thing. They're utilizing all of that as a way in which to foment insurrection, as a way in which to foment this opposition. And right now, all of their efforts are focused specifically on Minneapolis. And the one thing they've said about the organization of all these groups and what's going on is, if they win here, you can bet that this will be duplicated somewhere else. If the Trump administration were to, with no concessions, no nothing, just flat out pull out ICE agents, you would see this whole entire effort move to another city.
To another blue city in a blue state.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. Someplace where the politicians and local law enforcement will likely support what it is that they want to do. They wanted to do this in Chicago, but the superintendent in Chicago said, look, these are cops. If you interfere with them, if you obstruct them, you will be arrested. If you attempt to box them in, you will be taking your life in your own hands. So he made it very clear. We are going to, regardless of what these politicians say, he made it clear in Chicago, if ICE needs help, needs backup, they're going to be there to back them up.
That's right. That's it.
Because that's really kind of what they're supposed to do. But
Exactly
it's good to
right.
know. It's good to know he's willing to stand up to the politicians.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Now, rest assured. Now, I do believe that there are many Republicans who want to make sure that justice is done, and right, Dems not so much. There are some who are basically kind of being a little weak-kneed. There are those two. But I think the president has made it clear that he's going to send a message. And message number one is he's sending Tom Homan in to kind of be his direct eyes and ears and what's going on, and his mouthpiece, by the way, because evidently folks aren't too happy with Secretary Noem. It says there's some Republicans on Capitol Hill expressed relief after President Donald Trump announced Monday he would send border czar Tom Homan to handle immigration enforcement in Minnesota after Department of Homeland Security agents shot and killed a second U.S. citizen there. Representative Mike Lawler said in an interview that the move was, quote, a positive step to get the situation under control, while calling for a full and transparent investigation into the two shootings. There needs to be a greater coordination and cooperation between federal, state, and local officials, which is why sanctuary policies need to end, and local officials must work with ICE so they can do their jobs without interference, he said. It is paramount that we work to keep the public and law enforcement safe while respecting the rights of everyone involved, including the right to peacefully protest. Now, once again, I see Republicans right and left talking about a full investigation. I see Democrats talking about having these agents hung. Admittedly, I am exaggerating. I have not heard anyone say they need to be hung yet.
Well, they may not, but their constituents are calling for it. So
yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah. So folks are really working. Once again, they're working to make sure that there's just, but ultimately what it comes down to is this, is they cannot pull out of Minnesota, Minneapolis, or whatever city they're in. They cannot pull agents out of sanctuary cities wholeheartedly. They can get them off the streets if, and only if, they have the ability to go and get these criminal illegal aliens in the jails. If they can't get them in the jails, then they got to go out on the streets and find them.
Yep.
And by the way, I know we've already said this a million times. They are not just randomly pulling people over and dragging them out of their cars. They're pulling people over. If they're pulling them over, they are in vehicles that are registered to someone who is known to be a criminal alien, right? There's a tie to that vehicle to someone that they're looking for. If they go to a house, they're not just randomly going to someone's house. If they're in a Home Depot parking lot, they're not just randomly going to Home Depot. They're going there because someone was known who is a criminal illegal alien is known to have been there.
That's right.
It's targeted enforcement. Now, that's not to say that if you are illegally here and they find you there, doesn't mean that you're not going to get taken away because you are. And they've been very upfront about that even before all this started.
Yeah, we said that before. Listen, if they're going hunting or they're going fishing for bass and they put that fishing pole in the water and they pull out some catfish and it's catfish season, they're taking them too.
Yes, in fact, they are. And once again, I will just say it one more time. I don't understand why that is so hard for people to understand or accept.
Because they don't believe that they're criminals. Just entering the country illegal doesn't make them a criminal.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe that's it. Maybe they don't believe that makes them a criminal. I hate to say this to you, but it may not make you a felon, but it does make you a criminal.
Correct.
If you are in the country illegally, you have broken a law. What is that law? It's called being here illegally.
Yep, illegal entry into the country.
Yeah, I don't know why that's such a hard thing for people to understand. Anyway, on a whole different note, now Democrats in the Senate, their whole response is they're going to look to shut down the government. Making a long story short, and I don't know why the wrong video seems to be coming up here. Well, let's see if I got the right video coming up. So this is supposed to be the senators talking about their desire to that they're basically saying that they're going to shut the government down in order to keep funding from ICE from going forward.
Starting with Republicans, how has the shutdown seemed to have affected their political standing?
Yeah, you might think.
Okay, that is not the right shutdown video, but basically what they're saying in the video is that Democrats are basically saying, look, there's about $10 billion in these 5 bills that are scheduled to come up, in these 5 funding bills that need to be passed by Friday, and if in those 5 bills, one of the things in one of the bills has to do with funding for Homeland Security. If that $10 billion is included, $10 billion, we're not talking a whole bunch of money, but $10 billion, if it's included, they're going to vote down everything. Now, what they're asking Republicans to do is to hold back that one funding bill and put the other 4 through. Republicans have said that they are not going to do that. They said, look, this is an agency that is engaging in lawful activity. No, we're not going to allow you to make a political statement and do that. Now, is it really going to affect? Is it really going to affect the folks at ICE? No, it's not, because they just got funded $75 billion. They basically tripled their budget. So $10 billion is not going to make a huge difference, at least not right away. So the only people who are going to be hurt by this, Mike, are going to be people as a part of other programs that are not covered by the one big beautiful bill. So anyway, it's going to be Senate. Basically, Senate Democrats are making a political statement.
Right. Yep. And of course, it's going to come back to the shutdown, Craig. Oh, we're going to shut. It's a shutdown, and it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's not. And everybody sees this.
Well, when you decide that you are going to shut the government down, you're going to withhold your vote over a policy matter. It's not the people who refused to kowtow to your terrorist demands, right? It's you. You're the one making the terrorist demands that you are going to shut down the government if we don't capitulate to your terrorist tactics. And Senate Republicans are saying, no, we're not going to do that. But Democrats get to look like they're big, bad, and muscly.
Yeah, for once in their life, they get to look it like it.
Yes, they get to look it. All right, folks, well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. So go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your hog holster today. Our first one here is really kind of the point of what Democrats are really mad about, and that is the fact that, as you have here, a Democrat being interviewed, or a donkey being interviewed by a reporter, says, I'm against ICE deporting votes. I mean undocumented immigrants.
Yep, little Freudian slip, huh?
Yes, just a little Freudian slip. And then our second video here, now this is a report. This is actually a post report from Davos, and it kind of explains some of the stuff, what is going on with what Trump was doing before he decided to go to Davos.
This is what Donald Trump's hand looked like today in Davos, Switzerland.
And this is what he was doing before that picture was taken. Looks like he had to tell Gavin Newsom and Tim Walz twice. Look out, Aaron. You're probably...
Yeah, I got to say that for those of you who are just listening, it looked like Donald Trump was participating in a slap competition with Tim Walz and Gavin Newsom, and he knocked them both out.
That looked like the hand stamp that we had from the Arms Room Radio party and the Hogs and Heifers party there. At the
It did. Just kind of combining them.
Yeah.
All right. This next one, I could have sworn this is something that Mike would do, most definitely, if you're watching this.
Yo, scan it.
No way.
That's what it scans to?
Yes. Go. That's not funny. Bro, what is it? This is not supposed to be in the classroom.
So basically, the guy comes out and he's got a shirt with a flag on it, and part of the flag where normally the stars would be, there's a QR code, and so the student scans the QR code, and it comes up to a thing of Trump dancing to YMCA. And at the very end, it says, "Trump is your president."
I have on the back of my radio shirt, Craig. You've seen it. There's
Yes.
a big QR code, and it. I can hear people walking behind me. You just scan it, and then they open it up and go, "Damn!" And it's getting rickrolled. It's getting rickrolled.
I call that being Trump troll rolled.
Yep. There you go.
All right, folks. So that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to do one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself some AR barrels. They got any caliber you want, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire, plus a whole bunch of other pistol and rifle barrels available to you. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. And for the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, whatever it may be, get your group together, get your agency together. Place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for our episode today. Very much appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow, so y'all have fun, stay safe, and once again, we will see you mañana.